Welcome back to Hey How You Doin', the podcast where we stir the pot, politely of course, and talk about things people whisper about at Tim Hortons but never say out loud at Parliament Hill. Today's topic, why Alberta and Saskatchewan want to leave Canada, and what would happen if they actually did. We're talking Western alienation, oil money, Ottawa policies, and straight-up Wexit. Let's get into it. Why do Alberta and Saskatchewan want out? Let's be clear. Not everyone in Alberta or Saskatchewan wants to leave Canada, but the idea has picked up steam. And here's why. Western alienation. Many in the prairies feel ignored by Ottawa. They believe decisions are made for Ontario and Quebec, not for them. So, here's the thing about carbon taxes and climate policy. The federal push for green energy, well, it really clashes with Alberta and Saskatchewan's oil-heavy economies. When it comes to equalization payments, Alberta pays more into Canada than it gets back. And honestly, during hard times like those oil crashes, that really stings. There's a pretty big cultural divide out west. A lot of folks here feel disconnected from Eastern Canadian politics, media, and, yeah, even values. This frustration, it kind of boiled over into talk of Wexit. That's Western exit. So think Brexit, but, well, colder and with more pipelines. So let's dive into this next part. What if they actually left Canada? Okay, let's say Alberta and Saskatchewan hold referendums and vote to leave. What then? Well, here's what they'd need. Negotiate independence, likely with resistance from Ottawa. Next up, they'd have to create a constitution, courts, a central bank, and maybe even a new currency. Or hey, maybe they'd just adopt the US dollar. Then of course, they'd need to take control of borders, immigration, defense, and trade. It's no small feat. They're landlocked provinces, and everything they export, oil, grain, beef, would need to cross Canadian borders or renegotiate trade deals. Oh, and did we mention they'd be leaving behind universal healthcare, national defense, and the Canadian dollar? Segment 3, Impact on the Canadian economy. Now let's talk dollars and cents. If Alberta and Saskatchewan leave, Canada loses roughly 15 to 17% of its GDP. The federal government loses billions in tax revenue. The oil and gas industry, which drives exports and jobs, takes a hit. Manufacturing in Ontario and Quebec that supports energy production also suffers. We're talking major disruption to energy markets, pipelines, and even national infrastructure, but... Alright, here's a big one. Would Canada be better off without them? So here's the controversial question. Would Canada actually be better off? Well, maybe yes, if, say, the rest of Canada goes full green energy and wants to ditch oil. Or maybe if political polarization cools without the East-West divide. And, you know, we keep equalization money at home. But also no, because, well, we lose major natural resources and economic power. National unity fractures. Maybe Quebec reopens sovereignty talks. It sets a precedent. If one region can leave, what stops others? Bottom line, losing the West weakens Canada economically and symbolically. It would honestly redefine what Canada even is. So, is Wexit really the answer? Let's dig into that for a second. Western frustration is real, but is leaving really the best solution? Maybe what's needed isn't a split, but a better deal, more representation, smarter energy policy, real economic support during oil downturns. Because a fractured Canada doesn't just lose GDP, it loses part of its soul. The prairies are part of our story, whether we live in Vancouver, Toronto, or Charlottetown. But hey, that's just how I see it. What do you think? Should Alberta and Saskatchewan go their own way? Or should Canada finally find a way to make everyone feel heard? Drop a comment, message us on socials, and don't forget to follow Hey How You Doin' for more Real Talk podcasts on Canada's most uncomfortable questions. Until next time, stay curious, stay honest, and don't forget to listen to people outside your postal code.